Hello. For those who are here really early, hopefully a few more people will show up. Um, yeah, so I did a live stream a couple evenings ago, and I was got me thinking about maybe doing some more live streams with specifically development on Crescent Memories. Um, Coming close to a finish line, I think, on it. A lot of it's just asset creation at this point. There's a few code things that are um, a little bit beyond my reach that I'm hoping to reach out to the community for help on um, soon, very soon. But until then, I thought I'd kind of promote the game and talk about AtariAge. You can go and browse AtariAge a little bit because it's a fun place to go, especially in the Jaguar forum. So yeah, hopefully the stream is doing okay. Let me know if something doesn't look right. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. Um, Still, I have kind of an impromptu setup here because I'm more interested in actually doing work than doing the stream, to tell you the truth. But I'm hoping the stream kind of turns into an incentive to keep momentum with the work I have been doing on Crescent Memories. So yeah, let me know if there's things that you think I could change with the live stream or do or talk about. Any ideas would be helpful. Doesn't mean I'll incorporate everything that's suggested, but I'll definitely take it into consideration. So yeah, so the AtariAge Forum. I'm subscribed. I have notifications for the main forum, and so I keep track of things often, but I like to just jump into. I usually don't jump into the main forum because I get notifications for new threads or specific threads I've subscribed to, and yeah, so I miss stuff every once in a while. So I thought this might be a good opportunity to spend some time just looking at what's here, what I might not be subscribed to. So I haven't really reviewed this, so this might be a little bit boring up front. Again, if you have any suggestions on how I can make it more interesting for you, let me know. I always the pin threads. I remember when I first got on the forums a while ago, like 10 years ago, it seemed like there were only maybe 2 or 3 pinned threads, and now there's quite a few. And most of these I'm subscribed to. And my guess is some of these kind of disappear after a while, like this Revenge Empire ST Port Season 4. That's Gazty? I think it is Gazty that's he's actually producing box copies of some of those ports that reboot, or not reboot, Cyrano Jones is doing for ST ports to the Jaguar. And then there's a main thread there. Homebrew thread. Am I subscribed to that one? It's a pinned thread, and so can't tell if it's been updated recently. Oh yeah, I am subscribed to that. April 8th, 2018. People announce the main forum anyway. This Gravitic Minds. Oh yeah, that's right. Reboot has a few games in the works. One is Gravitic Minds. I know there's what is it, Castle Siege or Dragon Siege or something like that, which is pretty cool. Wormhole 2000. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Somebody else. Oh, and I don't believe this is the actual person that's working on it either. I'm not going to play back videos because that could just spend a lot of time, but unless it's something that's noticeably groundbreaking or incredibly interesting. Not that new homebrew isn't interesting, it's definitely interesting, but some of this I've already seen, so I'm not going to dig into that. I want to know about the power supply and power issues. How to clean your connectors. Games that benefit from the Pro controller. Wow, that one's pinned? I remember that one popping up. Am I subscribed to that? I am. It's just nobody's replied to that in a while. Huh. I don't think, anyways. July 13th, 2019. So it's been a year since anyone's posted on that. I don't know if that should still be. No, the Jaguar controllers are on an isolated island for this. No outsiders allowed. Oh, okay, let's see. 05 tips. Jaguar cartridge slot cover STL. Oh yeah, this thread. Yeah, I didn't follow this thread, but it is hilarious. I had the tab open for a while and I was refreshing it for the first few days. And hey everyone, I was curious if anyone has modeled a dust cover for the Jaguar cartridge slot and would share the STL file. I much prefer printing my own over buying them on Etsy, but none are available in the Thingiverse. And then Gummy Bear posts this piece of cardboard, Despy Gone 2000. Next one is that Y2K compliant? Oh, that's good. I'll have to check. I think so. I'll have to check with my tech guys and get back to you. Anyways, it's a pretty good thread. I see you have the updated version. What is it? It's a Great Choice Pillow. Okay, great. Bye, guys. How can I justify owning this bootleg printer? I can do it. I'm on the roll right now. PS, something like this. Cool, somebody's working on it. Oh, there's a good idea. Foam, piece of foam. That's actually a really good idea. You want to make sure you replace the foam every, decade or so as it wears down. I guess it depends on the foam. Seems like some foam just wears out over time. What else? Printed some amiibo stands. Ooh, that's nice. That's simple. I like that. I should follow this thread. I recently, within the last year, I think I put together a 3D printed cover, and I think it was response to this. I wanted to see how quickly I could put something together. Do I have it here? I don't have it here. I think it's in the other room, so I might have to show that off some other day. Again, I have wood filament, and it does look like cardboard. Oh, cool. And he printed it out. That's neat. Looks great. How easy is it to get a hold of the cover to remove it from the slot? Cover is not deep set. It's pretty easy. There's a lip around it so it does not fall in. Amazing work, my friend. I just got a Jag slot cover and he made some tweaks. It fits perfectly and doesn't fall out. Oh, yeah, that's something I could incorporate in my design. I didn't even think about that. Whew. Usually my Jaguar is sitting flat, so I didn't even think about having it have a pressure thing that keeps it in the slot in case you're carrying it around or something. Or it's in a box. So, no, that makes sense. It's a cool thread. I think I might have to follow that, see what other people are coming up with. Okay, what's next? Twin stick interest. Oh yeah, I think I jumped in this before the stream. Maybe. Oh yeah, somebody's actually putting, and I think I've seen pictures of this over the years, not this one specifically, but I'm pretty sure people over time have done their own twin stick designs. I've never been a big fan of twin stick, and it's probably because I just haven't done a lot of twin stick. I didn't grow up in the arcades like probably a lot of these other people in the forum. That's an assumption, but I assume a lot of these guys grew up in arcades, and so they're a little more used to the twin stick idea, especially if they grew up with like Street Fighter and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not going to dig into this one, but it looks like there's quite a lot of interest for it. I'm trying to think of what game it might be good for. Um, some of the fighters, obviously. I guess, somebody did a clicky Pro controller. They have a mod for that now, where they do some 3D printed scaffolding for inside the controller and stuff like that. And I remember, I think somebody got one of those controllers, and their review was very, very positive on how you have the clicky directional movement. And I imagine that's probably pretty good. I had a Neo Geo available to me growing up, and a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I loved the D-pad, or it's really a stick. It's not a D-pad, in the sense of like an NES controller. It's more of like a stick controller that you'd find in an arcade, and I love that thing. A lot more fun than a squishy D-pad. And so I imagine something like this, if you don't mind holding a joystick. And it's weird because I grew up with joysticks for the Atari 2600 and the Atari ST, and I really enjoyed those. But I do remember there was one stick, and I think it was Epix, that it was an Epix joystick. I think that's the company. I know they made games. Somebody correct me on this if I'm wrong. But the Epix joystick, which had a red and black motif to it, but it had a really clicky joystick. I loved that thing, loved it to death. And then there was one that had like this, I think it was gray rubber. It was probably original white rubber with a black stick. Same kind of design, kind of like a bean shape with the button on the side. Yeah, I love that controller. So maybe a twin stick is a good idea. To be completely honest, I don't think I want to put that thing in storage. Because I just wouldn't use it all the time, I don't think. Unless it just feels so good that I never want to go back to a normal Jaguar controller, which that's not too much of a stretch to imagine, for sure. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's quite a few people. But I would want solid red on mine. Is he taking them? Oh, the twin stick is for... gosh, what is that game? It's the two guys on the front. Total Carnage, that's right. That's a twin stick game. Gosh, how does that work without? I believe it does have twin stick compatibility. It's probably two controllers. Oh, that's got to be miserable. Anyways, let's move on. Oh yeah, I opened up a new tab. What could have saved the Jag? I'm not going to dig into that one. Of course, it's probably a funny thread. Seems like these hypothetical threads on what could have been done pop up every few months on the forum. It'd be cool to go, well, maybe not cool, but probably a complete waste of time, but to go through and actually catalog all the threads. They're like, what if they had done this, or what if they had done that? And it's fun to think about. I think about it too, and like with my brothers, I always there's always banter about what if somebody else was running the company, or what if Jack Trammell had done this, or his son had done something else, or stuff like that, stupid stuff like that. All hypothetical, but a lot of fun. Latest BGL ROM image, I think. Remember that one coming up. Oh, this one's interesting. I don't remember getting... Oh, this was just 10 hours ago. About Jeff Minter. I don't have a Twitter account. Don't browse Twitter. All social media platforms can be cesspools, but Twitter's design makes it particularly bad. If I'm going to rot my brain cells scrolling down a feed for 5 minutes and I want to see something... I want to see things like inspiring travel photos, insightful comments, or funny jokes from friends I care to share experiences with. Funny. That's kind of what Facebook is. At least for me. I don't give a crap about anyone's loud, uneducated, emotional opinions, but Twitter's especially. Then I saw Jeff's morning sheep time post a year or two ago, and I dug it. Never been cut out for responsibility of having pets. Anyways, cool. Yeah, I follow Jeff on Twitter as well, and I love his morning sheep time. And he always posts a picture when he goes out for curry and stuff like that. I really like how Jeff Minter uses Twitter. I don't use Twitter a whole lot personally. In fact, I think I got rid of my account recently, but it is fun to jump on there and see what Jeff is doing. I got rid of my personal account. I still have an account for JagCorner, so I can interact with people, but NBA Jam TE question. I don't think I've ever put that game into my console. I've never been a sports gamer. So I used to have a Jaguar, but I remember I had modded and sold it years back. But now I've got the itch and I'm looking to pick one up and a copy of NBA Jam TE. Why would you get a Jag specifically for that game? Didn't they release that on the SNES and the Genesis? Seems like they did. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. NBA Jam TE. Tournament Edition. Who's released? Platforms. Oh, wow. They released it on a ton of stuff. Yeah. So, why would you get a Jag for that? Let's see here. Game skill I can remember. Let's see here. According to the manual, I found online the default control. Oh. On all NBA Jam games, sequels, and variants I have and can remember, you can, through the game's setup menu, change the button layout to suit your needs. So I'm looking to specifically find out from someone who can test and verify this for me if on the Jaguar port you can, in fact, alter the controls. I assume I have no idea. I checked, and yes, you can configure the buttons so that C is turbo, B is shoot and block, and pass the steal. So that was pretty quick. Awesome, saves me $20. $20 switch and the extra wiring. Thanks so much for checking. Oh, so he's setting up a, yeah, same guy's setting up a stick version. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Look at what he did with the number pad. They're full buttons. I guess for some games that'd be really useful. Like Syndicate, that would be really useful to have that. It'd be a good game to have it on. Gosh, even yeah, even Iron Soldier. Man, I might want to think about getting one of these. Pretty cool. JagFest 1998. I'm not going to worry about that one. Oh, that's kind of fun. There's some pictures in there. I don't think we'll look close up at the pictures. I don't want to center anybody in these videos too much. Holding up the Iron Soldier, yes. Oh, those were the days. Right. I wasn't there, so I assume they were the days. It's pretty cool, though, that people are doing get-togethers with stuff like that. Ooh, look at that Iron Soldier poster. That's cool. Cool. Pause issue with the Pro Controller. Yeah, these new Pro Controllers, I bought a couple of them, and I've had to actually open them up and do quite a few modifications to them to get them to work as I would expect them to work. Don't get me wrong, they feel, once they're working, they feel even a little bit better than the original Pro Controllers, I think. I have a pretty brand new original Pro Controller, and so it seemed like I compared it at one point, and it's close. It's really close. Which is impressive in terms of finding materials that are similar, at least the membrane stuff. But yeah, I had issues with both my controllers. In fact, I just fixed one of them yesterday or the day before. Just the round pad for the D-pad underneath was not, when it was put together, it didn't line up exactly with the buttons of the D-pad, and so top and left, whenever you hit left, it would hit top left almost all the time. I just had to get in there and just, with some tweezers, kind of pull it over to the edge, and it works fine now. And then my other one I actually needed to, the casing. The casing was a little bit separated on it, and so I had to open it up and actually sand down some of the plastic in it to get it to actually clamp all the way together. So, and the only reason that was bothering is it would make a noise when I grip the controller in a tense moment or something, and so I had to fix that. let's see here. What's this problem here? I recently purchased a Pro controller from the AtariAge store, and while it has been fantastic, I came across a really weird issue in Ruiner Pinball. If you press pause, it pauses, but if I press pause again to unpause instead of unpausing, it brings up the sound levels. Yeah, it's probably just the membrane again, not quite sitting right. Has anyone had this issue with an original Pro controller? Not sure, I don't have one. The strange thing is that the game was designed with the Pro controller in mind. It is mentioned in the manual. I racked up a pretty high score this afternoon and then paused it as my kids were asking for something. Then to my dismay, I found I could not unpause the game. Okay, same thing. Took out my copy. Unfortunately, my shiny new Atari Jaguar are currently in storage, so I can easily test it. I appreciate that. Oh, is that Albert? Oh, that's Albert. He changed his avatar. In the meantime, if anyone else. So after pausing with the, can you unplug it and try unpausing with the center? I'm wondering if it freezes the game somehow. To unplug controllers with the system on, something I never do. I can't reproduce. I can pause. Oh, maybe we should try this right now. If somebody doesn't have a solution. What's wrong? Are you using a controller extension cable? Mine works just fine. No, the controller's unplugged. Said you tested the game with another controller. Did you test the controller with other games? If using the pause button, it's just a problem maybe with the controller. It is consistent with this particular repro controller. Plug it in, start the game, pause acts this way, plug in the original Atari controller, start the game, pause acts the way it should. This has been tested over and over with the same result, so it is something that is temporary. So it is not something that is temporarily correctly. The issue follows the repro controller. I have tested quite a few games, but I barely pause games. I only found this after pausing my game the other day. Okay, did you try other games though? Do you have the ability to load up homebrew games? Okay, I thought of this. Game drive. I've tested Ruiner playing both boards, so it looks like Albert has it taken care of. Using two different brand new production Pro controllers, both pause and unpause without the volume pop-up appearing. Really strange issue, but I'm glad. Of course, I'm curious. Well, it looks like it's his controller, if I had to guess. My suggestion is to pop that thing open and see if things are lining up. It might take some time too. So, oh yeah, Battlemorph reprint. So this is cool news. So Carl, I believe his name is Carl over at Songbird. He has the rights to publish Battlemorph. At least republish it. I don't know if that's unlimited or if he can do a small run or what's going on there, but he did a survey asking, let's see if I can remember this right. I guess I could just go into the survey really quick. Okay, which Battlemorph CD product are you interested in purchasing this year from Songbird? So he wants to do an audio, he's asking if people want to do a CD soundtrack of just the music, which a lot of the music on that game is great. It's not like Tempest 2000 great, but it's definitely, I listen to it pretty consistently. And I enjoy it. I haven't gotten tired of it. Battlemorph, Atari Jaguar video game, audio CD soundtrack. So a CD release of the game and the soundtrack, and then he asked about porting it to a cartridge. And this is really cool because I don't know if it was him or somebody else. They did the same thing with Iron Soldier 2. In fact, I think it was Songbird that did this. I'm not 100% sure on that, but and so it'd be really cool if they could pull out the FMVs, because I'm pretty sure that most of the FMVs in that game are not important to the story at all. It seems like there may have been an end game animation after you beat the final boss, but I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've finished that game. But anyways, so this is really cool. If you're interested, definitely jump on there and answer the survey. It'd be cool to see a cart version of that game come out. And also, there's also the argument over, I don't know if it's an argument, because Jaguar CD units are pretty delicate things. They fall apart pretty easily, and there's not a lot of them, and they're getting more and more expensive on eBay and for sale in general. And so doing a cart release of some of these CD titles, I think is important for people who want to play it in the future, on hardware anyways. And one day we might get CD emulation, which would be cool. I'm not holding my breath though. Virtual Jaguar is an awesome emulator, but it doesn't seem like a whole lot's happening with it right now. Of course, that's from a surface level. There could be a lot happening in the background that I don't know about. So, anyways, cool, really cool to see that. Whoops. Okay, Atari Store open, Battlemorph, Atari Jaguar Portable. Oh, this is cool. So this thread was started in 2005. So somebody resurrected a really, really old thread. This portable, oh gosh, that's such a tiny picture. Anyways, really cool. I remember I was very envious of this 15 years ago. Would have loved to get one of these. Really cool how he put it together. I don't agree with this analog stick, but I'm sure it plays well enough. It's almost like he designed it for AVP. The analog stick is probably pretty good for Alien vs. Predator. Anyways, somebody resurrected this thread. It seemed like there was something funny somebody said here. Let's go check it out. Tuesday. Oh wow, people are still... Okay. Let's see here. Tuesday, Monday. Okay, so September 17th, 2005 was the last time. Anyone want to sell me your Jaguar portable? 15-year-old thread bump. Add me to the list for when these are mass produced. Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I own that, so LOL. Also got a different one off of eBay and sent it back to get fixed, but it was never to be seen again. $500 wasted. Oh man, that sucks. The one pictured above was nice, but as someone mentioned above, it was bulky, too top heavy, and it had to be plugged into an outlet. Picture was good and screen. Oh, I thought it had battery. It seemed like it had battery stuff. 150 bucks. Heard that. Can't blame the sellers, but those guys who are enough to pay 90 quid for 2 booklets. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I would be happy enough. I'm gonna check something really quick before we continue. Okay, good. Just want to make sure that nobody's chatting and I'm not seeing it. Okay. Emulators are for noobs. Emulators. Okay. Let's do a couple more of these, and then I'm going to jump over. I'm actually going to be doing some sprite work today, so not much development. If I'm able to get it together, get the image, the sprite together, it's a background, so it's basically a full screen sprite. If I'm able to get it together in a couple hours, then we'll get it implemented in the game itself. But yeah, we'll see how far we get. Jaguar dev system. Oh, there's a 2010 thread that's been resurrected. Back to CRT. Yeah, I missed the sticky parts. Rapid fire. Oh yeah, there's that rapid fire controller. That's tempting too. Just a friendly reminder. Oh, do we want to risk it? Let's risk it. Jaguar still rules. I haven't been on the forums in a very long time, but it's good to see the community still getting games, and good to see new things coming to the Jaguar. Miss you guys. Aw, what a positive thread. That's awesome. I'm gonna heart that. That is awesome. Zombie buddies. Holy crap! It's buddies dropping in out of nowhere. Nice to see your name again. Guess he's an old timer. I don't recognize his name. For years, 2017. I just talked to Willard yesterday. He'll be dropping in soon. Yes. 78 forums, 10 years. I did not realize his since UX is a scene. Good to see you back. Isn't Willard the guy who was close to releasing another run of Air Cars K and then disappeared from the forums? Uh-oh. Here we go. Yes, that's Willard. I think Air Cars K is still planned on being released at some point along with other stuff. I'll let him speak for himself on those things. Oh, cool. Didn't they release Air Cars K? I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it. I guess there's more development for it or something. Cool. What a dilemma. You know, if I wanted to get back into playing the Jaguar, I'm not spending $250 for a single car or $1,000 for a CD unit. Don't blame you. It's not that, you know, I just don't want to. Cool. It's cool to see some of these long time folks coming back. Okay, anything games dropping. Anyway, I can play the Iron Soldier games without dropping $1,000. Oh man. Oh man, I wish the prices weren't so high so other people could play the Jag, but such is the market, I guess. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, neither of the Iron Soldier games work on emulators. I know for sure it doesn't work on Virtual Jaguar. It gets to the weapon select screen, and then you can, then it crashes when you try to start the level. And then Iron Soldier 2 is a CD game, so I'm assuming it doesn't work with Virtual Jaguar. As for Project Tempest, I haven't tested. I don't think I've ever tried Iron Soldier on Project Tempest, but I would assume it doesn't work on there either. Now for I believe there's a fork of Virtual Jaguar for, it's called a Jaguar, I think. And then that has slightly better compatibility, and I think the RetroArch core has slightly better compatibility. I haven't tested Iron Soldier yet on either of those, so. Oh wow, did this turn into a discussion of into pricing? So getting to the point, for me it's well worth $300 I paid to play Iron Soldier. You can add another 100 around it, I guess, but considering inflation, that's probably less than what you would have paid for the lot new in the 90s anyways. Don't shortchange yourselves. These aren't groundbreaking games anymore, but they're still fun games and experiencing them. Yeah, Iron Soldier is definitely not groundbreaking, especially for the time. I don't think it was. For a first-person mech game, it may have been somewhat groundbreaking at the time. What was that, 94, 95? And so I think you had MechWarrior, at least MechWarrior 1 out by then. So it would have been groundbreaking in the sense that it was an arcade mech game, maybe? I don't know. Maybe. It's a fun game, though. It's one of my favorite on the Jag. Well, not bad, actually. Okay, yeah, so it just turns into a money discussion. Okay, let's do some painting. And I'm going to be starting from scratch on this. Let me get switched over to... Yeah, transition. So for most of my sprite work, I use GIMP. It still has pretty good palette compatibility. There's another open source application I use for my illustration, which is called, let me make sure everything looks like it's running okay. That has, the program I use for my illustration, Krita, really good program, but it has no palette support, so you can't do any low bit depth images natively in the application. You can set up palettes, but they're not like palettes for GIF images or anything like that. So, yeah, let me load up. So something about Crescent Memories, or at least Audit will be watching, one of the games that will be a part of Crescent Memories, is I use the same palette, and I'm going to pull up one of the backgrounds just so I have the palette loaded and it's ready to go in GIMP. I use the same palette for everything in the game. So the game is primarily 8-bit color depth on everything. I think there's a few exceptions to that, but so everything's is applied to a 256 color palette. Yeah, so it's it just makes things a little more convenient on the code end to not have to worry about a bunch of different palettes and making sure I'm loading in the right palette at the right time. And so what I did is, in fact, let me pull it up. I think I still have it here. Oh yeah. Let me open this with GIMP, so you should see this coming up. So what I did is I pulled, because these games are basically, the way I put it is terrible fan fiction for Trevor McFur and the Crescent Galaxy. So what I did to generate the palette for Audit Will Be Watching is I took a bunch of screens from the game and I scaled them to what I to emphasize certain colors that I wanted in the palette. So when I converted to a 256 color palette, I got a palette inspired by Trevor McFur and the Crescent Galaxy. And that's it right there. And I had to go and manually organize some of these colors after the palette was generated. But yeah, so that's the palette I'm using pretty much for the whole game. And you know, most of those colors I'm probably not even using, because a lot of the artwork for this game is hand painted. So there's a little bit of wastefulness going on there. But it's I feel that with 8-bit color, if you can afford to have that palette, even though you don't use all those colors, you have some extra colors in case you do need it. You run into a situation where you do need a few more greens or a few more reds or something. So yeah, that's the original palette for Audit Will Be Watching. And let me, I'm going to pull up a pre-existing background to start from for our image, just so I don't have to do any more setup. And we'll just do this one here. Okay. Okay, so, oh no, that's not full palette. Yeah, GIMP does this sometimes. Sometimes it cuts off anything beyond the point of the last color used in the palette. And I think there's just a checkbox I forget to check. And it's fine when I export it that way, but when I need to go and paint something new, it isn't fine. Oh, let's do this. Let's open up this, and we're going to save this as cutscenes. And the scene we're going to be doing, so most of the backgrounds are done for the game. There's just my lose and win scenario backgrounds and sequences that I need to work on. And most of the game over screens are just going to be a single background image with some text. I wanted to keep those simple, but the win game scenario will actually be a sequence, a cutscene essentially, that will play out, showing which characters survived and which don't. And maybe some other stats. I haven't decided on that yet. I kind of want to avoid the arcade feeling with this in general, and so there may not be any stats for the endgame scenario. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the scenario if all the characters except for Trevor and the robot die. What are we going to call this? We're going to call this End Dead and Dead, just BG for background, period. Okay. And does that have our whole palette? It doesn't either. Why does this not have the whole palette in it? I should have been a little more prepared for this. Let's do this. I don't think that was my right aspect ratio anyways. I need one of the action. Building. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is, I'm going to adjust something here really quick on my chat screen so it's a little bit easier for me to see everything. Okay, cool. Okay, hey, that's most of the palette. Is it still, not quite the whole thing. This will be enough though, because I need just the grayscale stuff for everything. So that's another rule I set up with my graphics, and Audit will be watching is anything that wasn't a that would be considered a cutscene. So something with multiple images, basically. A sequence is what I call it. Anything that doesn't have a sequence of events, I would make black and white, almost like a vignette of what happened rather than what's actually happening. And then cutscenes are in full color. That I did that for two reasons: to separate the two visually, but also because I'm lazy to do. Well, not lazy. I don't have enough time to do elaborate cutscenes for every action in the game, and you wouldn't want to anyways, because just having the single images takes quite a lot of time to go in and out of actions anyways in the game. If you want to kind of see what that looks like, I have there's a commercial for the game up on JagCorner's YouTube channel, and it's worth taking a look. I think you do see one action played out there. So the only actions that are in full color during gameplay are when you talk to a character, because there's an actual sequence of events that needs to be displayed there, and that's a character talking back to the player. So, okay, yeah. So let's clear this out. This is actually the background for when there's an action for general patent, where he tells a story, and this is the background for that. But we're going to be clearing that out, and we're going to be doing, I have a general idea. I actually haven't thumbnailed this idea out yet, and so we may not get very far at all today. I hope we can get pretty far, but basically it's going to be Trevor up on top of kind of a cliff, kind of like something that might look like something out of The Lion King, that cliff where the monkey walks out with Simba and holds him up, something similar to that. But Trevor will be in distress. He'll be down on his knees or grasping his head or something, something dramatic to kind of fit the mood of, oh, they're all gone. What's the point anymore? So something similar to that. Yeah, I need to lock that. Darn it. I'm going to lock these so that doesn't happen again. Cool, and I don't know why that's saying Utah. This is going to be our base, and we're going to draw on top of our base. So something I like to do, especially when dealing with just these values, and it's a good idea in general when you're painting, is creating depth with a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And so the background will basically be the sky with the clouds, and we'll get to that later. I want to block in those three sections, basically, those three depths in our image. So I'm going to do, we started with this color, so I'm going to do something in the middle. And I've kind of liked this motif of going light in the back and dark closer to the camera. And we may change these values later. Until then, I think I'm going to put Trevor right here, kind of on this cliff side. Something like that. I almost want to put the ship in this. Like he's, so they crash land in this prison ship, and I almost want to make that somehow in my foreground. Let's see what we can get from that. So if, gosh, how do we do that? So maybe if we have the cockpit right here, and then Trevor's like out here somewhere, and our camera zoomed in, so it feels kind of flat. And then we'll have our clouds in the background, and then a horizon line of some sort. In fact, let's do our horizon line. This way we'll get 4 levels of depth, which will be really good. Horizon. Let's let's do that, and that's going to be a little bit lighter than our current color. And we have this one cool, let's see, our horizon's going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be like right there. Have this, and then I have this cool protrusion that comes up right there. Yeah, something like that. And then, in fact, I might separate this a little bit more. Let's go ahead and fill that in. Where's my break? There you are. Fill that in. And then I want to do, in fact, we're going to make this darker. And we'll change our other one here soon, because I want to do another layer in the back behind that. In fact, let's just do this. I'm not even going to create a new layer. We're just going to create a set of mountains like that. Do that. There we go. Like that. So we have a little more depth there. And we'll paint in some clouds later. I'm going to move this over just a little bit, like that. Get Trevor a little bit closer to that third. And we need to change the value on that, make it darker. Oh, no, not right. Let's do this one. There we go. Okay. Because during gameplay, there is a background. Let's see here, layer 2 size. There is in the background, so the ship here on the right side of the image is up kind of on the small cliff that's next to the encampment, to the right of the encampment from the gameplay's view. And so down here in the bottom left corner is kind of where that encampment is. And something that's kind of ambiguous, well, it might not be ambiguous here as I do the other game over screens, but right now what's ambiguous is how the other characters die or leave. I'm thinking of making it just leave. They go insane and then they leave the encampment. And so I was, at first when I was thinking about these game over screens, I'm like, oh, I should do tombstones or something to that effect, you know. But as I've thought about it more, I'm like, maybe I should keep it that they just leave and maybe they go off to die, because most of the characters are animals. They're anthropomorphs. I like to assume they still have maybe an instinct, kind of like a dog, to find somewhere alone to die. And I think cats kind of have the same thing too. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I've heard. Cool. So let's paint in our ship. And I'm not going to separate these, but we're going to create our ship. So our ship kind of has this cuboid front to it, something like that. And we'll clean this all up later. I want to just kind of get in. Let's do this. I'm going to make this. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm laying out the composition right now. I don't know exactly where everything's going to fit, and so I want to get the big pieces in there and kind of see where they might work well. So if we want them to feel even higher up in the air, which is not a bad idea because the sky can kind of isolate them, create this sense of isolation. Yeah, in fact, that's kind of a good idea to box them up there in that bright sky a little bit. In fact, I may keep the sky kind of empty. Maybe I'll just do a gradient instead of like the clouds have moved away, and it's clear that he's all alone or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that extra sky. Maybe not that much. Maybe like that. Let's do that. Whoops. Layer relative to image size. Oh. Okay. Kind of like that. It's not bad. Maybe I need to move the whole thing down just a little bit more. No. Let's see here. Where am I going to put the text? I got to think about that too. I think what I'm going to do is over here to the top left, layer 2 image size. Over here in the top left, I'm going to do the text. And right now, it says something like, all of Trevor's friends have died, or, yeah, they've just died and he's all alone. Game over, or something like that. And I'm probably not going to change that text a whole lot more than what it is already. And I'm just going to put it up here in the top left. For that. So let's see here. Yeah, I think I like this composition. I think this is going to work. So where do I want to start? We better, yeah, I'm going to start. I tend to start with the interesting stuff. So let's get Trevor put together here a little bit more. So I want him looking down like that, and he's going to be right on that edge. So what I need to do is I need another dark color, and this is because I'm working with such a limited palette. I have to I'm constantly shifting my values around a little bit. You think you get better at that, but I certainly have not, because I'm actually going to have to shift the palette of the ship here just to keep it separated, because right now it's matching that. So in fact, what I'm going to do, because this is a relatively simple image, I'm going to just flatten everything at this point and just work from one layer. I'm pretty confident in how this is looking. Merge down. Where's it? There it is. That way I can color pick and I can fill, do everything I need to do all in the same layer. I don't need to worry about switching layers. So I'm going to do that. Light source. Let's make the light. I kind of want it to be an ambient light source. No. Yeah. I've tried to keep my light source ambient with most of these backgrounds, because during normal gameplay the light is ambient or diffused by cloud cover, and so I've been wanting to keep it that way. So if we have shadow, what it's going to be ambient occlusion, which means when two objects come together, you kind of get these, because the light is diffused, it's casting an infinite amount of shadows, and as you get closer and closer, it gets darker and darker. So we're going to stick to that, I think. I may change my mind on that. We may do a more direct lighting to make it a bit more dramatic. It's that trade-off of making something dramatic versus consistent, and how much do I want light to tell the story in my artwork, and also from a more pragmatic point of view, is there enough shadow to separate things in the image so it kind of looks good. I'm going to make this horizon line a little more defined, like that, so it isn't just a flat line. Get this one over here like that. There we go. In fact, let's see here. Where are you? You're all the way up there. You're there. Kind of want to add a shadow in right here, like that. Start blocking. Well, I kind of want some cast shadows, don't I? I'm kind of leaning towards that right now. If we do that, that, do something like this, have it, we're going to take it all the way to the edge, something like that. Yeah. We'll fill in some more details later down there. Okay, Trevor. So the problem with having him grasping his head is he'll cover up his snout. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of want to see his face. So maybe what we do instead of grasping his head, maybe what we do is just kind of a just a limp arm, or maybe more of a contemplative pose where his arms are out a little bit but resting on his thighs out here in front. Something like that. Is he the right size? Yeah, I think that's a good. His proportions are right there. Okay. So he actually has slightly lighter pants. So I'm going to fill that in here a little bit, and I'm going to be pretty messy about this. His feet come out like that. I want him hunched over a little bit because he's sad. So maybe he has a blue jacket, so we're going to use this darker, or no, we're going to be using this tone here for that. And then we'll be, let's see here, that's blocked off, we can fill that in. And then we can use a lighter tone for his fur later on. Let's see here, I want to make sure we get some definition for his arms, some space there so we can tell what the main part of his body is. It's the one thing about sprite art. I haven't been doing sprite art for a long time, but it's once you start dealing with these super low resolutions. So like right now he's what? Maybe 60 pixels by 70 or 80 pixels. Making sure that the silhouette is very clearly defined and readable with so few pixels, it can be a challenge. So I start with a silhouette, like what I'm doing now. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go straight to a silhouette. Actually, not on his pants, because I need that separation from the cliff as I build his silhouette out. I'm going to have his jacket come down to about there. He is wearing a jacket, and then yeah, oh whoops, don't want to erase. Yeah, so I have these game over screens I need to do, and then after I get the sprite work done, that'll be pretty much it for this game. I'm debating whether to add a few mini games to the main gameplay loop. I haven't made up my mind on that yet, because it will mean quite a bit more work on the game, or quite a bit more time on the game. And I don't know if I want to spend that time yet. But other than that possibility, there's the possibility that oh, he looks like he's picking something up there. Let's do this. start over. There's so other than the mini games, if that happens, there's the possibility that I'll be doing. There we go. That feels better. Not the possibility. I need to do the music and some Foley work, so some sound effects and stuff like that for cutscenes. So I'll need a song for. There's an intro sequence that I'll need a song for. I have part of that done already. I have a composition started on that. And I may live stream that. I'm not as confident in my compositional skills as I am in my illustration skills. And so I don't know if I'll stream that or not. I'm still pretty self-conscious about it. I might stream it anyways, just to show how inept I am. No, I can usually I can whittle out a somewhat okay composition musically, something that isn't terrible. But yeah, so I got music. That's the big one, the last big asset hurdle with this game, past these end scenario graphics. So we're and after that, it's just a few more code things, and then packaging. I got to get packaging together. I'll have a lot of artwork to work from, thankfully, from the games already for packaging, a lot of inspiration, so I'm not drawing from nothing on those. But yeah, looking forward to getting to packaging. I used to do packaging up front. I try to avoid that now because of how freeform, especially this game, has been in development. Yeah, that looks better. I didn't want to create expectations for myself on this game with the packaging, and so I decided to avoid that this time around. I need a pixel or two there. Yeah, so I'm waiting to do packaging last, and I think it will come together pretty quick. Plus, I've been doing, I think it's all right that I say this, I've been doing some packaging stuff for AtariAge as well sorry, there's got a tickle in my nose, for some of the AtariAge games, Jaguar games that are coming out soon. I'm not going to name them. I don't know if it's good for me to name them at this point, and so I'll avoid naming them, but hey, we got a pretty decent silhouette there for Trevor. There's something about his knee I still don't like. Maybe we need... No. Yeah, dealing with low pixels can be a little frustrating, especially with more complicated poses like this. It's not bad, though. What color are his shoes? His shoes are brown, I think, so I think I'm fine with that value. And I do want a separation of values with his jacket, his pants, and these shoes. Okay, let's get his fur in there. So let's see here. I'm using that for his pants. His fur is a little bit brighter than his pants, so we're going to be doing this. And he has a collar on his jacket. So we're not going to draw over that. Ooh, that's way too light, isn't it? This is what I mean about shifting values around. We may have to do another value shift here. And there's actually a quicker way I can do that. I'm just worried. In fact, let's give it a try here. The cool thing, and you can probably do this in Photoshop too, but adjusting you can adjust low bit depth images. Yeah, so. Oh wow, that almost works right there. Ooh, and I kind of like the darker tone. Makes me want to do an overcast thing. Yeah, that's not bad. And then what we can do, so our sky, what we're doing is we're shifting this to a mid-tone rather than the highest tone or value. Yeah, so we can make his head that color, and this color. Well, no, we actually want that to be closer. See, it's just too close. I don't have enough values. What if bring this up like that? Oh yeah, that's not bad. Here, like that. Give a sense of atmospheres. That goes a little bit further back. The problem we have now is we do need to do a brighter value and have it. Can I just do this? Is that what we had before? No, I don't think it was. And that actually, this isn't bad. I will need to adjust my darker values up close here again. I like that. That creates a better silhouette for sure. Let's do this. Let's take this one, do that. Yeah. And we're going to need to bump this up. Ah, crap. I need to do, let's see here. That is, okay, I can do that. Do that. And then this is this one here. There we go. Okay. Lost his pants again. Not the best way to say that, huh? There we go. Maybe this will help me get this looking better. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. Like that. There we go. Yeah, that might be back where we started, but there is some sort of shift there that I like. Yeah, so we can't do that. Can do that though. I like that. That works good. And I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that is one step darker. So yeah, that's fine. That works. That works great. So, okay. I like that. That's feeling. Trevor feels good. Cliff feels good here. I almost want to. No, that has a good sweep to it. In fact, I might bring that down like that. So it kind of leads up like that, up in that direction. And we may do, so I've been doing this depth of field thing in some of these shots where I actually, the spaceship part, I cut that out and I do a blur on it and then bring it back in and paint it in. Or paint in the seams basically so it feels better. To add a little bit of depth of field to things. And I think that helps with this limited value scale that I have in creating depth. Sometimes depth of field stuff cannot feel too good. Let's do this. Let's see here, you're that. Oh, I almost want to knock this down, back down one to where it was, like that. Like this. And then we get another value to work with here for a mid-tone like that. Yeah, I like that. In fact, I'm going to carry that around like this. Right there. Good. And we have 3 values to work with there. We can do things like cracks, like that. Yeah. Well, that will work well there. Okay. Moving on. What do I want to move on to? What do I want to spend time on? Let's straighten this out a bit. Get some nice, clean, obviously worked edges here. Do that instead, yeah. Fill that in. good. And work in our edge here. Is that the same? Yep, that's the same. Bump this up a few pixel sizes, get rid of that a little bit faster. Whoops. There we go. Okay, and this one, I'm going to just do that, and that, yeah. How does that feel? Yeah, that feels pretty good. Get a straight line on this one. I think we need to break it like that. There we go. That feels good. Okay, I believe Trevor has a bit of a seam on his jacket, so we're going to do that. We're going to do our shadows first, actually. Get some shadows in here for his shoulder, for under the armpit here. Maybe we'll have our cloth drape a little bit. That shadow isn't going to be too realistic, but I think it will help. And what I'm going to do here on this arm that goes to the back is actually paint that a darker value, the whole thing, to add some depth that way. And then this, his pants are going to be a little bit tricky because we are dealing with only 1, 2, 3, 4 values for all of Trevor. This is one of the disadvantages to, let's do this, to working with a single palette, especially with grayscale, is you do limit yourself quite a bit. But, and you know, I could just create a grayscale palette and work with that and give myself 256 grays. But anybody who's done art, any type of art, typically finds out that having all the options in the world can actually slow you down quite a bit. And so limiting yourself on what you can use forces you to be creative. Gosh, do I want to cast a shadow? I kind of want to cast a shadow here for Trevor. A long shadow, something like that. I'll need to switch my direction. I kind of like that though. Oh, it doesn't make sense. It kind of makes sense. What I could do is I could put a sun or a clue to a sun up in the top left corner as if he's being beaten down by the sun a little bit. It kind of justifies having a shadow like that. I kind of like that shadow. It will put him up on top of that cliff too, like he'll really look like he's up there. Whereas right now he's kind of feels pasted on. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to do a shadow. I think that'll make this a little more interesting anyways. I think there's only one. No, I don't think I have the sun in a single screen. So this might be breaking from convention. Maybe that's something I can do with these end screens. Does that make sense? I might be setting up a convention here. I'll be kicking myself for later. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go ahead and do a shadow. So that makes things a little more difficult back here. In fact, I need to drop this a value, my shoes, like that. And we're going to let the sun hit right there. Goes down like that. And then we'll have the sun peek in right here, underneath his arm, like that. Yeah, I think I'm liking this. I think this will work. And we're going to do a shadow like that here. In fact, maybe we'll just drop that whole part of his thigh in shadow. And then we can use these darker tones for his upper and lower calf. Something like that for shoes. Yeah, that's not bad. Get that centered again. There we go. Okay, I think I am liking that. That is shifting our values around a little bit, but let's keep working on Trevor. I think we need to maybe have his head turned away from the audience, kind of like out of shame. Like, don't look at me. I let my friends die. Okay, and I believe, if I remember right, all the characters have this cool seam going down the back of their jackets, like that, and we're going to add a shadow, some outline a little bit here and there, to just kind of define things just a little bit where it's needed. In fact, we're going to drop this. In fact, I'm going to be a little less liberal about painting that whole thing. I think I want it. Maybe we'll even do some dithering there. Just a little bit. Like, no. Like that. It's not bad. That should show up really good on a CRT as well. Oh, something he needs for his jacket is his patch. So we're going to take a lighter value like this. Just draw a circle in here, like that. Yeah, that's good. And we need some semblance of the Circle Reserves logo. Let's see here. It's blue and then red. Something like that. It's good enough. Add one right there. And one right there. There we go. Oh, I have 2 people watching. I don't know if that's just me or or if that's somebody else. If somebody's watching, let me know that you're here. Just say hi. If you want. No obligation. Cool to know if somebody's watching though. Okay, so I think I'm not gonna dig into Trevor a whole lot more here, except for we need to do some shadow on his head. And does it make sense to do spots at this scale? Probably doesn't. Like that. I mean, if I did spots, it would be basically some dithering. So let's just do a little bit of that and call it good. Ooh, do I want to do a core shadow? Because if I can do a core shadow on its head here, pretty sure anyways. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. Might be a little too dark. Yeah, it's too dark. Yeah, so I'm not going to do anything beyond that for his spots. A little bit more there for his clothing. And the shadow needs to wrap underneath the kneecap, like that. In fact, we can bring it up close to the edge, and we can extend that shadow all the way up to his sleeve, because his arm is casting a shadow. Yeah, something like that. No, we're going to leave that hand the way it is. We need the separation. Gosh, I feel like that's a big jump. Is that really jumping all the way down? Oh, yeah, we've lost a value. Oh, so maybe I will do a core shadow. In fact, this I'm going to fill in with that. Oh, that's the same value as the ground. That's why I swapped that out. That's okay. We'll keep some of this in. I just want to make sure I have this cast shadow on the arm. Like that, if it makes sense. It may not make sense. You may have to, I don't know, it might work. If I did a little bit of a dither. Yeah, it kind of works. There's still something off about it. I may have to come back to that. I can add a core shadow in now, though, maybe, or spots. Something like that. We may paint these out later. Oh, those kind of work from a distance, don't they? Maybe. Okay. I don't want this darker shadow under him to extend. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a dither back here as well. Something like that. Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. I like it a lot. Okay. Since we're doing cast shadows now, and so this is being cast. I'm doing kind of a mid-tone there, but maybe I should do a little bit of a deeper shadow crawling up like that, and then have it kind of baked into the strata here as well. Stuff's a bit more organic, and so it'll be a bit more freeform. His pants need to be lighter. He needs to be separated from the ground. I don't know. It's not bad. Like, you can tell his legs are there. It does read. I don't know. He kind of looks pasted on. I think we're going to have to rework this a little bit. See, I prefer that. Problem is now he has the same tone as his head. I might have to just live with that. Yeah, that works. Maybe anti-alias that shadow a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll work. We may come back to that. But, yeah. Let's see here, where are we? What are you? You're right there. Do I have another gray I can use? Oh, 2 blue. That's 2 blue as well. That moves up. Huh. I like how Trevor's coming out there. That is looking pretty good. I'm a little concerned that I won't be able to separate the ship out the way I was planning. Oh, we might be able to. Since we're doing a shadow now, I can actually pull these other tones in. Gotta get this lined up. Let's see here. Here to there. There we go. And do some highlighting. That way I have a separation now on that. And then if we take the next, it's the same as that. Let's see here, if we do this, that keeps it, yeah, I think this will work. There to there. Oh, so many little pixels. Have to paint those all in. And then I need, let's see here, this will go straight up to where? Right there. So if we did something like that, it's really bright. Do I want it that bright? Can we drop it down? So if I invert, what if I invert these? That. Crap. Let's do this. Shift B. That. B for these. I did that. There we go. That feels a bit better. You can add some detail in there. Yeah. We can even add a mid-tone along these lines, like that. Hit it when it isn't exactly on. It's always a tricky thing to draw over the same line twice in this, so I'll just fill them in. Do something like that. There we go. There we go. Let's do a mid-tone here. That. Almost want to do it on the inside because you're going to get some reflected light. No, I like that hard edge. We're going to keep that hard edge. Okay. Okay, I think that's going to work there. What I need now is I need to build some shadows back here in a few places where there might be some rocks. It's going to cast shadow like that. And a little bit closer like that. So one of the tricks I've found with doing especially pixel art is typically you want to work with big areas, and this is kind of a rule, a good rule when you're doing illustration anyways, is work big to small. Because usually you don't want everything as detailed as what the focus of your shot is, and so if you start big, you get that unfocused look first, and then you focus in on what you want to be looked at when somebody actually looks at this looks of your illustration. So with pixel art, I think that's even more important, because if you started with really small details, going in and painting all those little pixels that you changed around, if you needed to change it later, would be a nightmare. And so using the line tool a lot, and then work in bigger areas and fill them in. And then when you need detail like dithering or anything else like that, you can dive into that when it's appropriate, rather than at the very beginning when you don't know if it's appropriate or not. Yeah. Yes, big shapes. Like working in these little cracks. You got to be careful with them though, because you can get carried away with them and it just makes everything look really, really busy. I mean, we almost already have enough detail down inside this area down here. Almost don't want to carry it any further. Kind of want to put a little detail out in the distance here before I go too far with it, but sometimes it can be hard to make sense, at least for me, of details like rock, because you're starting from a flat value and then you have to manifest these forms, these rolling forms and rocks and stuff like that out of a flat value, and it's really spontaneous and it's really easy for me to get nervous about that. And so but if you dive right in, usually you can get something that feels good. Something that works anyways. What we're going to do is we're actually going to cast. We need this to be filled in a little bit. Because we are casting this cliff is kind of up on its own little thing. I almost want to do some bounce light in there, and we can do a little bit of that. Kind of have to be careful with it though, because it's not a different value than your midtone, and so you have to pull back on how much you do, and you have to keep it physically separated from your midtone value, so when it's inside of that dark, it actually feels a little bit darker than your midtone. If that makes any sense. Just yeah, a little bit of reflected light, and I may even actually add another value of dark in here for the really dark areas down in here, something like that. Want to keep it simple. You don't want to add too much detail in dark area, too much shadow detail in dark areas. It can be distracting, so something like that is probably good enough. In fact, that might even be a little too much, but we'll let it sit for now. I'll probably come back to it if it still doesn't feel quite right later on. If you can get 3 values into your form, you can usually get something that looks pretty good. That at least feels like what it's supposed to be. Yeah, that works well from a distance. Something I can do to make this a little more interesting, especially up here near Trevor, is I can add some grass, something that looks like grass a little bit anyways. something like that. Yeah. I may do another one somewhere else just so it isn't all alone. So there is some repetition in there. Let's see here, the sky, and what we need to do on this window. Sky one is fine. I'm going to leave it that flat shade, I think. And then on this lower window, I want to put in a horizon line because we are going to have some sort of horizon in this window. So I'm going to just draw in something specific, and what I should do here is probably blur this. In fact, I think that's what I might do. We might actually just do a gradient here. Let's see here. I know I've done gradients in low color mode in GIMP before, but I don't remember exactly how that looks. So we want our high and our swap these and our low, and take our gradient wherever that is. They simplified the menu in the latest update, and so it'd be hard to find certain things because it's more like Photoshop now, where there's these things are hidden in menus. There's advantages and disadvantages to that. Oh, hey, look at that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. In fact, that's going to look really good on that glass. Let's do that. And I'm going to see if I can desaturate that like that. And then come in here, select our color with the fuzzy select, and then go select, invert, and delete that. There we go. Oh, that needs to be the other way, doesn't it? Whoops. That's okay. We'll just we'll swap them. So that needs to be that. Okay, we need to make this a darker value before we change that to that. And this can be that, and then this can be that. There we go. Something like that. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like it. We may add a dither to that later, but I kind of like how sharp it is. I don't want this scene to be too soft because it's not supposed to be a happy scene at all. Trevor is a sad guy in this shot, and so I want to make sure that where I can, other things reinforce that in some way. Gosh, I almost don't want to add anything else. I gotta add something more to that background. Part of my problem is the shadow we're using. Oh, no. We have a separation. We have 1 degree of separation there. So I kind of want to do kind of a running canyon kind of thing. Like that. Oh, it is the same value. Darn it. What if we make it... What if we do this? Like this, like that. Go ahead and fill that. Where are you open? Not open. Oh, we're still on this layer. Merge down. There we go. Do that. And then, we could do a river. I think this is the first time we ever see this, and so I can kind of make it up, something like that. That's not bad. And then we can actually go in and set this back to. Obviously, the further out I go, the less detail I want. I want to stick with larger plates of value, because it's not really the focus of the image to yeah, that's kind of nice. I kind of want to move it up though. Well, I can't move it too much further up without that, something like that. And then we need to define that a little bit more, separate that, have this run a little bit closer to itself like that. What I can do is these little break-offs that aren't too big, but we can kind of see some cast shadow here and there from the sun up in the top left. I almost want to add another little thing there and do a cast shadow. Yeah, I like that. Something like that. Sorry, shouldn't be rotating the canvas like that. I try to avoid that with pixel art. You just don't really need to rotate the canvas typically, because you aren't drawing huge straight lines freehand, typically. Kind of want to bring that down just a bit like that. I don't like how this is mixing in here. One way I could fix that is add a value above like that. I don't really want to do that with the rock though. I kind of like the way it looks. We can wind our river. That's our other option here. So if we wind our river up like that, up to this other darker tone, and then do this, something like that. Smooth that out a little bit, maybe leave some little islands out in the river. Put that up like that. What? Oh, right there. 1 pixel. There we go. Something like that. I can actually do some little towers maybe out here in the river with some shadows. Just to kind of show how high this might be. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. It's a bit better for sure. There's a bit of a cliff out here. Like that. And do this. Come on. There we go. Like that. Cool. Add a few more rocks. Go this way so that tower isn't alone by itself. Gonna have a Grand Canyon thing, a filled up Grand Canyon thing, I guess. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. Maybe the river goes all the way out to the horizon there, where we don't see it anymore. Kind of mix that in, these two horizon points a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do another little thing out here. Allows us to mix it a bit. Almost like there's, maybe it's a little bit snow-capped or something out that way. Cool. This is coming together pretty quick, and we've been streaming for what, about an hour? about an hour maybe. Well, almost 2 hours. Well, we'll put about another half hour into this, and we'll move it over into the program because it won't take too long to move that over into the program and test it. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I need something out here. This river isn't quite in the right place. I need to bring it up like that. Like that. Yeah. Feels a bit better, doesn't it? We can bring this over just a little bit more. In fact, I can bring this back up like that and do some overlay. Cast a shadow on this. Just kind of random shadow. Maybe add some cracks. Like that. Yeah, I like that. It's looking pretty good. I am very happy with this so far. There's a little bit, the river's a bit more shallow right there. It's a pretty big river, isn't it? It's good. I like it. It's not bad. Kind of want to put another tower thing right here, something like that. Cast another shadow. Come on. Something like that. That will combine, unfortunately, with that again. I do want that tower there, though. Looks good. Like that. It's kind of cool. I like it. This tower needs to be a little bit taller. Ooh, maybe I put a crater out there. That's what's needed. Oh yeah, in fact we kind of already have that going on. If I do kind of a crater like that, and we actually pool this in the water like that. Yeah. Then we can add our shadow up to that point. Cool, that looks cool. Come on, there we go. Okay, is our stream still good? It looks good, sweet. Cool, and we can actually add some, gosh, why isn't that, there we go. Some cracking here and there on that. It kind of all needs to be filled in like that, huh? Maybe. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Maybe we put the center of the crater, the rock that impacted right there. It's kind of cool. Actually helped out quite a bit, didn't it? I don't know if all that background's is gonna be consistent with other backgrounds, but it's looking really, really cool. So I'm gonna just let it pass. I typically do like to make things consistent, but that crater idea, I don't want to sacrifice that now for consistency's sake. Cool. It's pretty good. Oh, that was a happy mistake. These stone pillars kind of represent Trevor's friends. There's 3 of them here. Kind of like that. In fact, I really like that. That's cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, I think I'm about there, at least for now. I might come back to this later on. Oh, there is the sky. So we don't have much to work with in terms of values for the sky. So what I might do here is we'll do clouds still. And just, I think our shadows are subdued enough that we don't really need to worry about let's do this. I gotta get one more shadow in there to really worry about having a defined light in the sky. I think we can just do some highlighted clouds. Oh man, in fact, if I can get this working, gosh, I almost want to separate the background again. Let's see if I can do that easily. Oh yeah, I think that's it. Almost. A few pixels here. Yeah, let's go ahead and separate that. So let's delete that. Now we can do our background freeform, and I'm going to fill it in with this same tone, what we had before. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a bank of clouds if I can get the values to work. I'm a little worried that, let's see here, we're going to mix in right there. So So I kind of have a style going on with the clouds. I don't think it's going to work here though. Well, it might. Something like that. Clouds are always, again, kind of like rocks. They're a bit tricky. So as it gets further out in the distance, they flatten out. Seems to be a good rule of thumb. Okay, let's carry that over there. And we can fill this in. So what I'm thinking is we do some, like a bank of clouds over here. Oh, we're kind of losing our, well, this might work still though. Let's some breaks. Like that. I like to keep some rounder edges on clouds. Oh yeah, that's not too bad, is it? You kind of have to think of negative, what you're doing with your negative and positive space with clouds, and I can't quite verbalize that. But basically you're creating these, like up here I've created this silhouette of a cloud using the shadow. So we're going to get this nice kind of almost a layered feel to the whole thing. Yeah, that's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. That looks really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do at least one more value change over here with the clouds, using the same similar. So if I do a big swoop and then kind of silhouetting some bigger, I kind of want them to move up closer to the camera here as we get closer to the right side of the frame. Something like that. It's not bad. I kind of want to avoid Trevor's head because I think, in fact, I may even add a brighter spot right where Trevor's head is. It's kind of cool though. I really like that. Kind of this billowing feel to it. Sometimes it's just a lot of ovals too, like, or yeah, to kind of, again, it's kind of a balancing act with detail, and ooh, I like that feel. Has a look out to the horizon, kind of a sunset, not a sun, well, not a, maybe it's a sunset feel. It's something else. It's gosh, I'm not sure how to define that. That's pretty good though. That's too coincidental right there. You need to cut through that like that. There we go. And maybe do one up here. Like that. Sweet. And I think we're going to do that. Yeah, yeah, that looks good. I like that. Cool. Come on. Give me my tool. There we go. It's not bad. Create some separation right there. Add a little wisp right there, maybe. I like that. That's that is a way. So the mountains here, I love these two mountains here because, or these three mountains here because they're kind of like tombstones coming out of the distance. You know, for the three characters that them being dead would actually generate this result. So yeah, I'm loving that. That's pretty good. That was a happy mistake. I was not planning on doing that at all. Yeah, that's gonna look really good. That was that's how you do the tombstones without doing the tombstones, because I don't, they're going to die when they go out alone. That's assumed in the story from a narrative point of view. But you don't see that, and so having this kind of subtle tombstone symbolism in the scene, in the environment, kind of gives me both worlds without having to be explicit about it. Okay, got a few pixels I gotta clean up here. There is a little bit more I want to do with this, but for the sake of time, since I've been streaming for over 2 hours, I'm sure by now, I'm going to we're going to top this off. I'm adding just a little highlight details here on this corner. In fact, I think I'm going to add just a little bit to that. That doesn't work, does it? In fact, I need to bring this up to here like that. Gives me a nice Nah, I think I'm going to keep it. I kind of like how it blends in a little bit there. The river. What can we do with the river? We can, if we create, oh yeah, kind of experimenting here with this river, the values in here to kind of see if we can make it look a little bit reflective. Just a little bit reflective. Because as we get further over, we do have more brightness, and so if we can get this to look like it's kind of reflecting those clouds. See, I think, oh whoops, I think I want to bring that there, make the rest of it bright. Kind of like that. In fact, what we can do here as well now is actually add a reflection in for our walls there. See if I can don't freehand it. go up a little bit higher, and then we come down, yeah, just like that. There we go. So now it kind of looks like we have this gentle stream, reflections in this gentle stream anyways. Yeah, just like that, and that actually gives us another degree of separation there. Yeah, I love that crater. Crater was a good idea. Yeah, I really like this. The only issue I have is this shadow right here. You know what I can do? I can just do something like that to kind of separate it. That way it's not obvious, but we are still getting a shadow there. It's not too distracting, I don't think. Let's just a little more detail down in here. That. Yeah. Maybe crawl that out a little bit right there. And right, oops. And right here. And right there. Ooh, I like that. Whoops. Do that a couple of times. It's not bad. Cool. I think I'm there on this one, at least for now. I may come back to it later once I notice more mistakes. Something common when drawing and painting is when you're in front of something for so long, you tend to not see mistakes that might be there because your brain gets used to what you're seeing. It accepts what it's seeing. So you have to take a step away at times to get a sense of what might be wrong. Because people who might tune into this later or skip through the video or something like that, you're probably obviously going to see some issues with this illustration. And so, but and I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be coming back through and checking up on things, seeing if I can do one more pass to polish things up. I like to do that if I can, if time allows. Sorry, I get feelings to add a few things here and there to kind of make it feel a bit better. I kind of like those stragglers out there. Okay, cool. I think we're done for now. So, yeah, thanks for tuning into this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any suggestions for content that's related to specifically the Atari Jaguar, please let me know. I'm really considering doing this consistently every week, and so I'll need content for that right now. My only idea is basically whatever I can drum up on a AtariAge or maybe some other social media channels or things that pop up online. So I was kind of doing that before with my social media channels, that when something popped up I would have that posted. Seems to take too much time to do something like that or to keep up on it, and so if I guess what I'm leaning towards is making it a little more impromptu, a little more on the fly, and just have some locations I can go to talk about stuff. But if you have any other ideas, let me know. Thanks for tuning in, and we will do this again for sure. Thanks for watching.